have to. And I will have to talk with, Five Star when they get the other accounts straightened out about opening new credit cards. New business, the accountant computer does not work at all. It was on, it went off. You press the button and it flickers and it goes off. We changed the power cord, Barry looked at it. It's pretty old and it's a Dell probably. Who was in talking to me about it? Who said it's probably, not worth calling somebody in to fix. We still have to upgrade Valerie's computer. Chuck said don't even bother upgrading his because the few things that he uses it for, he'll still be able to do. And so there's Valerie's and the police have to be definitely upgraded to Windows 10. And we'll need a new one. Yours is Windows 10, mine is Windows 10, so they're okay. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions for people to use. I know Dave Zamola recommended Geneseo Tech that the ambulance people used. My husband always used a guy in Corning. Other than that, I don't have any computer people. I don't know if anybody has somebody, but.
I've used a guy in Geneseo.
Have you too?
He's really good.
Yeah, he's come highly recommended, but, I think we need somebody to come and look, and I think that the consensus for most people is that rather than upgrading to Windows 10 on the two old computers, we'd be better off just buying a new computer with Windows 10. Desktops are really not that expensive, and they don't need we don't need big things, they're not really playing games or anything else on them. So I have, I don't know if anybody has any recommendations. That's the whole thing. I'll have to, get people in to give us some.
They use them up there,
Geneseo Tech. That is the name.
because they do towns, they do fire departments, they do a lot of things like that.
There's Ed's Computer in Hornell too, they're fairly close, they do repairs and the whole 9 yards, they do towns and sign non-disclosures, the whole 9 yards.
Ed's Computers,
Yeah.
it's called?
Yep.
We don't have to go to Hornell, do we? And I can talk to my guy in Corning, who is not, he's very good, but anybody else have any recommendations? We don't have anybody locally anymore, do we? I don't know if, Fred Grams was working for the school. I don't know if maybe he's not looking for work right now. I don't know if anybody talks to him.
Last time I talked to him, he turned everything over to
Yeah.
a guy in Dansville that does Dansville
That's right.
ambulance.
Oh,
He just done the village of Wayland. I don't remember his name though.
oh,
I asked Fred if he would just come over and look at ours, but he says he's not doing anything anymore.
Oh, he's not, okay, I knew okay, anybody know the guy in Dansville? That would be close,
I don't know, are you talking about Gary Stratton? He used to work at the college?
No, he's a black guy that does the ambulance garage stuff. He's just starting his own business. And Fred turned all of his business over to him, and I don't remember his name.
Oh, you mean Wayland Ambulance?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I probably could call them,
I don't remember his name though.
okay. Does anybody else know of any other computer equipment no, because I'd like to get probably Mark needs definitely updating to Windows 10, but, and the court system uses all their own stuff, so we don't have to worry about them. Okay, I don't know if we wanna give Rachel a break and let her speak to us now. I was gonna do privilege of the floor. Do you wanna go ahead and,
Of course, yeah, thank you.
okay,
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. Is there, as opposed to something else? I didn't know what you meant.
no, because you're not on the agenda, and so
Oh.
you don't have to sit and listen to us go through
Oh, thank you.
our cyber policy and some of the other stuff, if
Oh,
you
goodness,
wanna.
thank you, I appreciate that. I had a blizzard actually between,
No, yeah,
Canisius and Springwater. Hail. Got here and it was sunny and gorgeous, so.
it was blizzarding off and on here all afternoon.
Yeah, it was absurd. I was like, if I go off the road, I don't know if I can ring a doorbell. Anyway, thank you for having me. Obviously strange times to first meet. I'm driving here going, should I take my mask off when I address the board? Anyway, pleasure to meet you. So my name is Rachel. I'm here with a company called Abundant Solar. We have, so we build commercial scale solar projects. The customer that's consuming the power generated by our solar arrays are households. So it's generally about 175 households powered by every megawatt that we build. So we have a variety of solar farms in western New York. We have 4 that are in the greater Rochester area and 1 under construction in Steuben County in Troopsburg. We also have about 100 megawatts of power in earlier in development throughout New York State. Let's see, I'm based in Rochester. I head up our New York operations, and we have a landowner in the town of Cohocton that's interested in, and we signed a lease and is interested in leasing the land to us to erect a solar farm, but of course we have to go through the local permitting process. So I wanted to just come. I'm not submitting a formal application tonight. I have a site plan that our internal PV designer put together, just a, kind of really simple early concept plan, a sketch of what could be. There's a lot that goes into this, and it'll be an evolving conversation as we go forward. But I just really wanted to come tonight and introduce myself, to meet you, and just hear initial thoughts about it. So I do have some drawings I printed of the concept plan. I'm also wondering, can I pass them out?
Yeah.
I
most
don't
people
know,
have
so.
masks on,
It's a bizarre time. So again, it's just a concept. Right, I'll walk up and hand them to you, Judy.
Sure.
I'm completely healthy.
Hopefully we all are. Although, we're not going to win
So.
Thank you.
So again,
Wow,
this is,
sorry.
if you're looking at the site plan, I wrestle what to bring when I first appear before a town, because, we're at a very early fork in the road, so this, even presenting this can put us down a rabbit hole of getting into specifics. The real question tonight is the town's interest in the project, at a real high level. The project would obviously go through your permitting process, and I understand that the planning board is in the process of considering a solar code. We've gotten projects fully permitted where there is a solar code in place, and other solar farms have been built at one end of the range. At the other end of the range, where not only is there no solar code, but there's no solar farm that's been built. So we're nimble, we can operate in all sorts of environments. Frankly, the towns where there's not a solar code, some of them investigate what their neighbors do, and look at it want kind of a comfort as we go forward. Others are more informal. So there's really a huge range. It's a home rule. New York is the whole country's home rule. So there's a real patchwork quilt of how different communities handle this. So as I spoke with Supervisor Hall over the phone a number of times about this. And she did mention that the planning board is considering a solar code. So one thing I just wanted to put out there, while at this moment, while there's no solar code in place, is that we can comply with like your neighboring, like Dansville nearby that has a solar code. We could comply with the Dansville code, or we could point out as we go forward how we are or are not like the Dansville, the project is or is not like the Dansville code. A lot of communities where we're advancing projects where there's not one finds it more helpful than when they adopt a solar code with nothing before them, because they've adopted a solar code in a vacuum, and they may have all sorts of provisions that they've grabbed from somewhere else, but do or do not apply. So just something to chew on as we navigate this conversation. So I don't know. I'm here to answer your questions. I mean, solar's new to everyone. Has their first interface with solar, so there's no questions that that's a bad question. I wasn't born advancing solar deals, so I learned everything for the first time at 1.2. So, I'm here, and it's my pleasure and privilege to answer any questions you have. And what I can't answer, I can get back to you after the meeting.
What is the megawatt size of the one that we're looking at?
Yeah. So on the very bottom right above the north little caret, it says AC output equals 5,000 kilowatts. That's 5 megawatts.
Okay, that's.
So that's under an article, that will not go under an Article 10 then?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So your setbacks here now that I see on here, the 25 feet and 26 feet, whose codes are you following there?
So the 25 feet was just like when we first draw this, when we're signing a lease, the PV designer's not looking at local codes yet. It's like a higher level than that, just trying to give the landowner really down and dirty, like, can this fit can this fit half a megawatt, or can this fit, 20 megawatts? Like, it's just a very gross scale. So that was just, this is not with your local codes,
Okay.
yeah.
And this is turbine number 9.
So I take this, Judy, this is up by you by the
See
looks
that
of
little
it.
house? Yeah, that's me. Only house in the picture. And what are these little things that look like,
Pyramids or the arrows.
what do you call them, poles, utility poles?
Can you hold up the drawing and
The
point to where you're
line of
looking?
the little,
I don't know, my guess is it's to measure the shading of those adjacent trees.
oh, okay, so they're not utility poles.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, I was a little concerned about that.
Yeah, the designer who does this very early sketch she's just looking to make sure that any kind of early barriers, like the, like the
I
turbine.
pointed out to her
so
that
on,
this land
so-
is all under lease to Terraform.
Terraform's on a separate tax parcel ID. I spoke
Right,
with them
and
the other
they
day.
are
No, they're
each
not.
Each turbine is, they are, each turbine's on a separate.
This is the
And
one
with the landowner.
parcel, this is Dykeman's land right
Right,
there.
but what she's saying, what I'm saying is each turbine's on its own, tax map, and also it encompasses, the landowner has
Yeah.
it too, but they have it too, the Terraform has it too.
Right, they have
Terraform
the
and the
right to
landowner, we're
all
both
of this
clear.
this parcel.
So where's all this electricity gonna go?
So it gets pumped to the grid,
What grid?
and what?
What grid, where, substation?
Where's the substation?
Yeah, where's the substation?
I don't have it mapped. I can get back to you, like, in a follow-up to this meeting. If you give me your email address, I can submit something. The substation's not in the, I believe it's not in the image of this map. It's somewhere off-site. But, it gets mapped to the grid. The lines are, I believe, right along the road. And, it's basically the electrons flow out to the grid, and they get, bought, the customer is purchasing them. The customer, any household who signs up to be our customer, ultimately is having those electrons, so to speak, come back to them. They're purchasing the solar power that's generated.
So the substation's probably not in here, it's probably, are you hooking into the windmills substation?
No, so the conversation with, so I can get back to you after, I mean, these are good questions, but the conversation in terms of what substation and is there enough capacity and that sort of topic.
Right.
So what I usually explain when I begin a solar project is there's 3 trains that leave the station. One is permitting, our conversation, one is taxes, a different conversation that also is between us, and last is the interconnection, that's us and the utility. So it's really, it's on the utility, like that's, we'll go through that in a variety of, we'll make more and more investment as we get further along, they'll share more and more information, and we'll quantify exactly, basically their answer every time is, yes, the grid can handle it, but here's how much, and the number either works or doesn't work. So it's not a matter of if, it's can the deal afford with the upgrades that are required.
I just think all the substations are quite a ways
Far
away from here.
a long
That
way.
you're going to go underground, I would assume,
It's a lot.
to get there.
Not typically, we tie into the, I can get back to you about our plan to interconnect.
You're-
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of detail with me tonight on it, but
They're
I can get back to you in
2 miles
terms of
from an overhead line, easy.
where's the substation and where the line would go.
There's a substation right there, there's a substation on Eelpa, I don't know of any up on the hill, except for the windmill. And
Well,
that's
not-
over.
No, and that's on Brown Hill.
Yeah, that's over. So that's why, and if you're doing overhead, that
five,
means you're
yeah.
going through a lot of farm fields.
Oh, it's, the
Yeah.
connection is
They're
on
not
public
going
right of
for
ways,
it.
the connection is
But
not
if
across
the
private
wind
land.
has to bury the
Okay.
cable, the solar's gonna have to bury the cable, the way I look at it.
What did you say?
Our wind law requires all cables to be buried, and I'm
That's
sure that our
wind.
solar law will require the same thing, the farmers will not.
How soon are you thinking
Well,
of
we're not
starting?
I'm sorry, wait a second, the connection would go from this property, either right at, I believe the line is across the street, so we have to figure out how to, you know.
No, our line comes from Prattsburg, another town, and it goes nowhere. It's our private line, and it goes from
You might get free
Prattsburg to
electric.
our house. Yeah, well, that could be really.
I don't understand
There's
what you're
no
saying.
electric, other than the house in this picture,
Well, let me follow up, there's no,
there's no electric
there's-
over
Yeah,
by
I just
Jan's
wonder where the
land. No.
substation
Yeah,
is gonna be.
it's-
Where
I mean,
will
it's-
tie it
There's
in?
nothing between me and,
Yeah, and my house,
and the
yeah.
county road.
No,
They're gonna have to put one in if Prattsburg puts that farm by the old dump,
no,
but
that's
there's nothing now.
that's not happening.
Mm.
We do also have a contract, just to be clear, I don't know what you meant by that's not happening, we have a contract with Steuben County as well to put solar on a number of, we won an RFP with Steuben County to put solar on a number of their, closed landfills, including the Prattsburg landfill.
Excuse me, Run that by me again,
it's-
please.
We won an
Cohocton and
RFP with Steuben
Prattsburg.
County to put solar on a number of their landfills, including one in Prattsburg.
The one in Prattsburg is also jointly owned by the town of Cohocton and Prattsburg.
No, I understand, so, yeah, that's
Alright.
down the road, but I just wanna let you know, at a macro level, we're at an early stage in the process, but if you go to the Steuben County website, you'll see that we won an RFP with them for solar.
That's still in
What timeframe are you looking at?
The permitting process can go anywhere, can go quickly or can take a bit longer, so, 6 to 12 months is a typical range to get, through permits, through tax conversation, through interconnection, and then, to construction start. So, yeah, I would say the 9 to 12 month range.
They're gonna be constructing when the wind project is constructing too.
So just so I make sure I follow up, where would we connect, where would the lines run, are the questions? Okay. Are there any other questions I can answer or get back to you on?
You got a business card?
Absolutely, yeah, I'll leave that when I walk out. Yeah. And what is your name?
Jan Casper.
Super, nice to meet you.
How many acres is this?
So a 5 megawatt project is usually, roughly 25 to 30 acres. Can range a little bit once we get deeper into the details in terms of inter-row spacing between the rows. Topography and so on can impact it a little bit.